MSI, but they're less pronounced. And that to me is a good development because it gives me hope that over the course of the split, we're going to see Barrel go from getting caught for no reason at a really weird place to what we saw here a couple of times, just a little bit greedy, to hopefully him not getting caught at all anymore. Yeah. That is the ideal situation if you are a LCK fan. If you're a T1 fan, then you're hoping that more of that happens, because otherwise we're not going to go to a game number 3 here, because DK looks like they are still in prime mechanical form, and the early game macro was exceptional. As T1 says, no, just banning Senna is not enough, we also don't have the catch. Not getting any of it.
Yeah, pretty interesting. I like the ban of Thresh against Keria. I think that's a good idea. Although, to be honest, Keria, at this point in time, it looks like his form is the best that we've seen in a long time, and the guy has a champion Ocean, so maybe it doesn't make sense. But his Thresh is insane, either way. Yeah, I think T1 fans across the world all rejoice when they see that Senna ban come out here. The Tom Kench ban is pretty interesting. And then Renekton is the third pick here to be taken off the board.
As there's the Lucian ban. Gonna avoid a first pick on that for T1. The Lee's open, the Gwen's open. There's a bunch of power picks. Udyr is also one where Kaz will basically be guaranteed to have a lot of pressure early on in the jungle, which is one of the main reasons why that pick is still so popular despite being nerfed repeatedly. This is a nice flex pick that can comfortably go into the solo lane. We also saw Faker play it really, really well. And it also allows you to pick up an AP jungler. Nocturne, however, does make it through, and that's another one of these picks that just seems so bonkers at the moment. You can pick it up, and then you can, like, somewhere halfway at the end of the draft, you can be like, okay, like, guys, who's going to play this? Where do we put it? Because
who wants it today?
Can you play it? Yeah, you know, can't. Yeah, sure. I'm up for that. Oh yeah, yes, please. Gwen
does leave the nice. Gwen available when you do go for Nocturne Rumble. A really nice combo, of course. And here comes the Gwen. So Gwen will be locked in alongside of Teddy's Kalista once again. We didn't really get to see Teddy having crazy pop-off performances in game number 1 just because of how crazy the game was. And all the team fights just all over the place. So I wasn't really able to shine, but we all know how insane his Kalista is. And he's going to get it once again.
And it creates an interesting situation where it's really hard to kind of ban out all the Kalista champions. You can get some of the most popular ones, right? The Alistar. Maybe you want to do the Gragas as well, because I feel like that combination was actually really threatening and one of the main things that kind of was a problem for you. However, with this composition, Damonkia has already really kind of honed in on a dive composition. And that means that T1, they can throw a Nautilus ban, maybe the Leona as well, and force Barrel to be on something awkward. Obviously, like an Alistar is still good, but Alistar not as great a combination. With the Kai'Sa, you really prefer some more long-range engage so you can reliably dive without being in the thick of things. But Damonkia, you know, the composition honestly plays itself. You Nocturne ult someone, you throw a Rumble on top of them, Showmaker, Kai'Sa Ghost dives in, and then you're basically there. As we do see the Leona ban come through. Would not be surprised to also see the Nautilus taken off the board. And T1, yet again, they're kind of swapping now, where last game it was Damonkia that really had the kind of solo laney comp, right? The Jace, the Lucian, the kind of hard to execute, really potent composition. This time it's T1 with two incredibly strong melee solo laners that don't have to be solo laners. Gwen, I do expect to go to top side, but it would also be very Faker to just pick that up and play it mid. You know, it's not impossible.
Why not? I don't know what that word means, actually.
I was waiting.
Being totally honest, I know everybody's waiting for the translation. I'm like, I don't know what that is. Sorry, guys, drop the ball.
Even a producer doesn't know.
Yeah, apparently our PD also doesn't know. Maybe it's like a meme. Could be.
It could be. I'm gonna blame you.
It's my fault. Sorry, guys.
As the Akali, and this used to be one of Barrel's best champions. When he would get that Alistar as a Damonkia thing way back in the day when they weren't the strongest, you would rejoice. As would I rejoice if I see this Nico pick up. Because Nico, to me, is one of those champions that is just incredible. It is a lot more risky though, so I would also respect them going for the Gragas. But I think both of these champions are really good into hard engage, and that's not a pick we've seen in a long time. But I love it. Wow. 2 melee solo laners.
What?
And this
what year is this?
Wait, I say that, but is this a Sejuani support?
It is carry.
It could be. Surely it's not. But no. I mean, with the solo lane, it makes too much sense, right? And then who ends up where? Presumably it will be Faker in the mid lane on the Lee, and then the Kana on the Gwen. Kind of going through the options. I think both of these are fine here. Gragas, to me at least, is a lot stronger into dive compositions. Because it makes it so easy when they try and go in, you just throw the barrel, right? And then good luck trying to blow someone up. The Nico also does that in a bit more forceful manner, but the difference with the Gragas is, of course, Gragas, as we saw last game, is also absurdly strong initiation.
Yeah, and it's carry, so...
It doesn't matter what he plays.
By the way, we did get an update. It means basically like super strongest, greatest, genius, monster, legend.
Yeah,
that's
pretty appropriate.
That's what that thing on the on the fan sign meant. So I think that's an accurate description.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Silas is the final pick, by the way, for Showmaker, and he will be bringing it in here up against what looks to be Faker's Lee Sin.
I was waiting for a moment there. I was
Sejuani
like, Sejuani mid. Like, oh, Faker.
Yeah, that's the thing about this meta. It's like, who knows? Like, just throw Gragas in the lane.
It could happen, but like slotting Sejuani in between two melee solo laners obviously is 10 times better.
Yep.
And the Sejuani is interesting because I actually think that the buffs to Warmog's might have made her a lot stronger as well. If you don't know, Warmog's not only requires 11 on the bonus health, which is a lot easier to get by than 3k health. Sejuani, of course, after the removal of Cinderhulk, not really as relevant anymore, and that might bring her back into viability combined with Frost Armor. So really strong 2v2s, really good ganking setup, and still an incredible team fight here for the composition of T1 as a whole. But then I look at the Damwon Kia composition, I'm like, well, that team fight actually is also terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's divey, right? It's all or nothing, and it's this type of style that beat Damwon Kia.
Yeah.
That RNG did, and I really like the swap here. It's really interesting. It's not something we often see. Generally, it would be the Nocturne, but this time it's Canyon's going to spread around. And in terms of damage spreading, it makes a lot more sense. 80 in the jungle, 2 solo laners AP.
Yeah, there you have it. And one thing that really struck me was that there's an incredibly low amount of range in this game on both sides.
It's going to be a fist fight,
I think the highest range is Kalista, or is it Kai'Sa? Because those are the only 2 ranged champions in the game.
It's probably no. I mean, it's Rumble because he has an equalizer. Right?
Yeah, I meant auto attacks. You know what?
Well, yeah.
But I suppose you should look at range as a all-encompassing, abilities included kind of thing, Chronicler.
Because then I do think it's the Rumble. Yeah, but you know, Sejuani's up there as well. If you really want to like snipe those ults from very far, which generally I would recommend against, because I'm pretty sure Damwon Kia is just going to sidestep. If you do that, not optimal. And Sejuani back. What a timeline.
I know. This feels very weird. It's like I'm back in 2017, 18.
I like it.
Back in the day, we used to have, what was it, Sejuani against... Zach.
Trundle.
Trundle. Oh, yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Trundle counter pick. Good times.
I mean, I liked it. I know a lot of people did, but I enjoyed it. And we joke about it, but I do think that this is, if this goes well, it might be a starting sign of what Riot has tried to do with the repeated changes to jungle, right? They're actually trying as a kind of, I'm pretty sure you win at level 1, especially... with all the 3 stats that you get. Not great.
Yeah, he was waiting in the tri-brush, so he was trying to flank Khan and win the 1v1, so he was very aware of it as well, and was able to get a nice trade there going. Faker being pretty annoying, very aggressive in the mid lane, trying to zone away. Teddy hits level 2 first. Speaking of annoying, it's going to be a fun time for Kalista.
The repercussions, as you were saying, of this low-level range is that both these 2 team comps, if one of them gets too far ahead, it gets horrifying to play for the other team. But it also probably means that we're going to get a lot of hands-on fights. I say this knowing it is the LCK, so please don't blame me if this turns out to be a 20-minute no team fight and we only pick up objectives kind of game. It shouldn't be, right? Because the team fighting power, or rather the skirmishing power for Damwon Kia with Equalizer and Paranoia, all the ultimates you can steal, the Ghost who can grow into side lanes, or the other T1 with their side lane pressure, Carrier's hard engager, so much here. The generator doesn't necessarily mean anything as Showmaker needs to respect.
Wow, even the flash away from Showmaker there. Huge respect shown, does not want to get knocked by the Sejuani. So he's able to get out of dodge. That's another thing too, you know, with so many melee laners going head to head, is that I feel like ganks kind of gain a little bit of power, right? Because there's not a lot of champions that can farm from range with their auto attacks. Everybody's kind of got to get right up to the wave, and it makes it a little bit easier for the jungler to have a better angle.
Oh, look at that. Oh, Oz and Ken, you're going to meet each other. You do not win this as Sejuani, so you have to get out of there.
It's been 302 days. It was a loss. Nice smite here from Kuz to be able to get that going.
That's the mental victory right there. You know, gotta get that done.
Yeah. We saw no Sejuani in spring, funnily enough. A frozen glacial champion only showing up here in the 2 summer splits.
If power farming is the meta, you know, I don't think Sejuani is really where you want to go. And I like the champion, but it's not optimal. And as I was kind of getting into earlier, this is what Riot wants, right? Like, maybe you want to see the tank junglers, maybe you want to see the more ganking junglers kind of come back with the repeated nerfs to that farming style that has been so prevalent ever since really Worlds. Is when Damwon Kia obviously used it expertly, and we've seen it be utilized by many a jungler and team ever since. And hopefully at 6 we'll get some action. The first Paranoia is always a really big one for the jungle Nocturne, because it will of course have less economy available to him than a solo lane Nocturne would. So personally I feel always a little bit more reliant on actually making plays, which is good for us because we like plays. We want them to happen.
Yeah. It can be a little bit more coin flippy in that sense, because if you miss, then it's like, well, the Nocturne might not be doing much in this game, at least for a decent amount of time. Because, as you mentioned, the farm issue is there. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, if you consider the lanes that he could potentially gank, I would imagine probably not bot lane. I mean, you've got some nice initiation alongside of the Alistar, but going up against, you know, Fate's Call and Gragas is not going to be easy. As we're flashing in, we're looking for the stun, and that is going to land. Canyon already uses his flash, and Faker says, get down, and takes him down. That's going to be a really nice first blood pickup there, and a great read from Cousin Fake.
It's actually a beautiful spell shield there from Canyon. Initially, right, it's split second. He doesn't see Cuz coming, hits the spell shield, but because the spell shield is gone, it's literally a free permafrost coming through from Cuz. Really well played, really knowing the limits of the champion at a level deficit, right? It's the utmost faith in Faker to make it work, who's been using this prio very, very well. And that's going to be an early Drake getting picked up here for T1 in addition to that. Oh, never mind.
Or not.
Yeah. I was like, bot lane prio, you know? They killed the jungler? No. I'm not taking any risks here.
He's like, you know what? I gotta catch up on my farm.
I mean, he does.
gotta go to the
level
crux.
6. You do, right? Sejuani, Nocturne is an even more extreme example, but Sejuani also very much a jungler that not necessarily needs farm, but she needs her levels, and she needs like the core, and then she's pretty much good to go. Whereas Canyon does he wants to get Paranoia ASAP. And we'll be going towards that top side. Be enough there.
Faker always in the face of that Sylas. And you talked about bot prio. They have the wave pushed in. Beryl has been able to rotate over here, but it is 4v3 for the meantime. Beryl takes an insane amount of damage, but he gets the 2-man knockup. That is really big. They're going to take out Buzz, and they're going to take down Keria. This is a disaster for T1 as Nocturne hits 6, and they get 3 kills on the back of that, alongside of the blue and alongside of the Ocean Drake.
And the idea behind it I get from T1, because you want to try and pressure Canyon, you want to deny it at level 6, but it's that engage from Beryl that really solidifies it, and Khan with a perfectly timed TP, because the moment that Beryl actually hits that engage, it feels like instantly the equalizer comes down, blows everyone up, and honestly, it's a miracle that T1 isn't further behind. It's only 1k, thanks to the fact that Gwen is able to pick up a little bit more gold in the top side, as well as that early kill that was found. Keria is going to get the interrupt, but not much more. But 3 kills and a dragon takes out so much early momentum that T1 was honestly able to get pretty decently in the early game there.
Yeah, it's I liked T1 getting proactive and using their priority, but Beryl basically said, "Hey, remember me? I made my name on Alistair."
Alistair? Yeah, it used to be pretty good.
I think I know how to play this champion. And he's like, "Yeah, you laugh at me for MSI and for
I'll show you
some of that last game. Let me show you my Alistair. Let me pull out my big pick." And certainly, I mean, that was great. He was taking so much damage in the early stages of the fight before he engaged. I'm like, oh no, he's just going to die again. And then he just gets the perfect engage.
He doesn't even have ult yet.
Yeah.
It's the insane part.
He knew his limits. He's like, they can't kill me, but if I get my knockup, that's all I have to do. And he gets the 2-man knockup, and that's really what gets the ball rolling. But T1 are going to be able to secure this Rift Herald. After all is said and done, so they do lose the fight, but they get the big objective, and they're only 400 gold behind, so it's not the end of the world, as we are going to take another look here at this fight.
And here you see, like, the moment that they spot them, the teleport channel comes through. And that's why it feels like instantly as Beryl engages, they get it. And then we talked about the spike on level 6 for Damwon Kia, the equalizer, the Nocturne. Perfect example. The moment... Yes, that's the face of a man who just had a great teleport, throws an equalizer on top of a bunch of unsuspecting enemies, and, you know, Damwon Kia playing to their strengths. You love to see it. Beryl, as per usual, a treat on the Alistair, and it's a good look, but T1 fans, don't be scared. This is a composition that much more, or even more so, I'd say, than last game, can really turn things around in team fights, right? Sejuani is such a strong pick, or when she was strong for a reason. It's the front line, the initiation, and the CC potential that she will have with all these melee laners.
Yeah. I mean, that being said, though, Showmaker did get insanely fed after that last fight.
Oh, it's bad.
Picks up an insane amount of gold, and there are so many good ultimates to steal, as you mentioned before. And we're looking for a potential setup here, but Buzz is going to show. Not sure if he knows, but...
And a bigger problem is that, as mentioned previously, you get one more of these as T1. One more of these skirmishes that goes this way, and you end up with a melee composition that is going to have to play into a way more fed melee composition, which is not, it's not impossible. Yeah. I think that their initiation is still so good that if someone is slightly out of position, you can punish them. But then you get to a point where you're more reliant on your opponent to make mistakes, which generally we want to avoid. And that is the moment where the game went from pretty nice to T1 to not horrible, but not particularly great either.
Yeah, it was about 1,000 gold swing, maybe a bit more actually, on that graph.
Yep.
As you can see, Faker's still looking for this potential play with Keria in the mid lane, but he's kind of just waddling in here, okay. Saying hello, and then he's going down to the bottom side, helping to clear out some vision, no doubt, before he does have to get back to lane. We saw Canyon up here on the top side, maybe looking for something alongside of Khan, but it didn't really amount to much. He's got Paranoia up again. And it'll be interesting to see where he does go with this one. He is edging up to the top side once again. Just going to start on those Krugs for now.
Sejuani is in the vicinity, so they might look to bait something out. That 2v2, incredibly strong, and setting up a trap for Canyon here, possibly.
You have the ward down that sees that, okay, the Gromp is up, and he didn't go for the Gromp. Bottom side should be clear. So where is Sejuani? And that's going to be the easy flash at a Khan, because is able to get that summoner spell as well. And Khan is just going to be totally fine.
It's a nice flash force as they go in here.
Yeah,
I hope they don't die.
Big damage, and oh man, the TP comes in first from Damwon, but the big knockup on a Canyon. Equalizer getting huge damage down, and now the final boss. of Damwon is here. It is Showmaker. He is so fed. The slow is going to land on a Cuz, and that's going to be enough. They don't need to land the ultimate. They just get the slow down, and now Showmaker's 3-0. Keria, once again, desperate to try to carry this game. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to, though. Teddy trying to kite it out here. There's the body slam coming on in. And still the ultimate available for Beryl, as he is going to be able to cancel out that engage very easily, and no further kills will be given, although Showmaker is looking for more. Oh, and there's a teleport as well. It looks like T1 might have just gotten themselves into a really desperate situation. There's the 1 kill, and Showmaker, you know he's looking for more. Not going to be able to pick it up. Teddy will survive, but that is 3 kills and yet another dragon into the pockets of DK.
It's a gorgeous punish from Damwon Kia. All starts with that topside play, which, you know, with that ultimate gone, it's risky to go in there. And I think that the moment that the teleport comes down, you just try to get out, because without that Sejuani ultimate, you just don't have the available damage. Might be able to punish Canyon here, though. Possibly doesn't have the spell shield available, and this time, yeah, that is the optimistic. Might still get the stun here.
Cuz still moving forward. Another Infernal Soul. Had a bunch of those today.
Yeah, it's been good. Oh, can they get the charge? I don't think they will. Oh, yes, maybe.
Looks like the charge win, but we do have a one-on-one up here in the top side. Khan is angry, and a couple of autos would do it, but Faker will survive, and he's got Canada to help him out. But here comes Showmaker. Keep in mind, he is a little bit out of the way, though, but T1 not really able to land on a Khan until just now. That's going to buy a little bit of time with the blast plant, but now Showmaker looking for a bit more. He's got the kick, but Gwen is doing some insane damage. The kick comes in, and Faker gets his own kick and shuts down for 600 gold onto Showmaker.
And that's a pivotal play by T1 there, because they take back the gold lead, swings in favor of them now, gets shutdowns on 2 of the most fed members of Damwon Kia, and deny the possibility to get that turret taken. Instead, they get first turret blood, and this is starting to feel like the back and forth that the first game could have been, but wasn't quite. And I want to see that gold graph, because that's going to be some roller coastering going on right there.
Yeah, it feels like we're living in the LPL right now. Some of these fights, but
yep.
That's just the way things are going. And yeah, I mean, the shutdowns are huge. That's really what this huge swing is about. I mean, it's 1,500 gold now in the lead for T1, and they're looking for more. This time the cast, not really going to land. It's still a 3-on-2. Ghost takes a lot of damage. Good knock up here from Beryl, but he might just be the sacrifice. Oh, Faker! Super awesome angle there. He's not able to get the kill, but at least he does get the flash out of Ghost, as T1 now really feeling themselves in this game.
Oh, this is a quality game here, Valdez. It's action all across the map. None of that LCK, we don't do anything for 15 minutes. 20 minutes even. There we go. There's the roller coaster we were promised. Honestly, if they want to stay true to this type of game, we're going to go up and down a couple more times. However, what I loved there was the ability of T1 to utilize the power of these champions in the specific places where they excel, because whereas I think that the Silas is a bit of a bad example, but both the Nocturne and the Rumble are really good in team fights, right? Where you're able to isolate someone, blow them up, use the big ultimates to get a lot done. Whereas in elongated skirmishes where Kana and Faker can use the sustain that their picks have, the Core Drinker, the fact that Faker went for the Executioners, the constant sustain from the Gwen passive, like the fights become so hard to win. It's kind of similar to Silas, but Showmaker was so late in that fight that couldn't really help his laner, and now T1 in full control back of this game.
Okay, looking for a play on a Faker here. It looks pretty easy, actually, with the equalizer coming on in. Even Beryl was barreling down the mid lane there, looking for a potential follow-up. And that's, you know, there's no big objective right now. I suppose there is the second Rift Herald, but DK just going to be satisfied with the 1 kill.
I think they could have gone for the Herald instead. They were starting that up, but maybe hoping that Damwon Kia would get kind of greedy, stick around. Yeah, super clean combo there. Not a lot you can do once you get CC chained into a certain death there by the rather long-range engage coming through from Damwon Kia. Well, we see Riftmaker from Khan here.
Yeah.
I actually love that adaptation, considering who he's playing against. That's really interesting. Because that's a pick that we used to see a lot on Rumble, but it's not something that we've seen in the recent future. It's always been the Night Harvester most commonly, and sometimes the Proto Bell. And if you look at how this game is going thus far, not too surprising. Faker just walking up a little bit too far, and not a lot of counterplay to that one.
Yeah, we got another fight up in the top side. This time it's onto the Gwen, 2v1, and it looks like they will get the kill, but Kana is able to get one of his own onto Canyon. And so it will be a 1-for-1 trade in the end.
That's Gwen, baby. Able to pick up the return kill, gets the ignite, and this provides T1 rather with full control over this bot side. And this is a crucial Drake. If you give this one up, Kia gets to the soul point. You get way more control across the entirety of the map. However, with this, you might be able to actually get yourself in a position where they can't walk up too far, where they can't really get vision, and possibly pick someone off before the fight has truly started. However, if Kana's not there, it's going to be really hard when Canyon is on his way from base. And T1 not actually able to use that return code that they got. Kana doesn't have teleport, so they're going to need to wait. Faker really needs to respect it. Can't get picked off again, and as long as you're not grouped, there's openings for Kia.
Yeah, there's a ward here on the Drake, so Damwon knows this is being started up. Let's see what they can do about it. Showmaker just going to go ahead and steal a Sejuani ultimate. Good start for him. Faker eating a bit of damage is going to give the stage over to Damwon. We are going to begin picking away at this one. You see Beryl up on the top side. The Paranoia is going to come in, try to deny any vision, and look at the knock up there onto the Sejuani. Cuz just evaporates in this fight. A nice kick on the Canyon. They're trying to do the same. The Gwen is getting a ton of damage on the Beryl as well, and Damwon immediately jumps ship. They are out of here. They pick up the Dragon, but that is a 2-for-1 win in kills over to T1.
And if it's post 20 minutes, possibly you can look at try and punish the jungler is dead. Maybe you can get the Baron, but instead you give over soul point and you don't really get anything. Sure, you get the 2-for-1 trade, but that's in of itself not enough. And Kia, even though the gold has been gone, Faker
he's looking for it, but they know trying to get the play down actually is DK. They're trying to push them away, and they will be successful in that 3v4 underneath the turret.
No, the kick is not available, and that takes away a lot of the threat from that Lee Sin kick, right? And yeah, this is Gwen making really good use of the invulnerability that the W provides. So the early damage from the Rumble doesn't really come through until he's in the circle. And then here we see, as you said, Cuz, you're not that tanky, buddy, but the fact that they use everything on him makes it way harder for them to get reliable damage. Than a beautiful casket from Keria. This allows Ghost to really get anything done, so Barrel's off by himself, and the sustained damage and just sustain in general that T1 have are a really big problem if you don't blow someone up instantly, as Cuz it's looking like he's not going to go towards the Warmox, so yeah, no, I would have liked it personally, but it's okay.
It's alright.
It's fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things about this comp as well. If Ghost isn't getting consistent damage, basically you just try to blow someone up, and if you don't do that, you're kind of in a bad spot.
Oh,
right?
yes.
And if Gwen is left alive after all of that damage is outputted with full health and tons of room to work with, I kind of like T1's positions in those fights.
Keria has almost done more damage than Canyon. He's an O2 support Gragas.
Yeah.
Building Shurellicus.
That's just the way it goes.
Just want to put that out there.
Okay, zoning ultimate from Khan, we'll call it. 20% damage on the Keria, I suppose.
And now we see T1 set up this side lane pressure, and that's what they need to do. I think that they have a really strong 3-man unit that can both engage and disengage if Kia decide to overstep. But they do need to respect the Nocturne, because that's the issue with putting your Gwen, putting your Lee in the side lane. It's really easy with both Ghost's Killer Instinct as well as the Nocturne ultimate to collapse, and there comes the Paranoia!
Oh, but Beryl has to blow his ultimate there. Gets the ultimate out of Cuz, so a bit of a trade, 1-for-1 you could say, but the reliable engage from the side of the Alistair will be taken away. So you can see T1 are considering getting in there, just poking away at it. We have a little bit of K-Ram going on here, 5v5 in the mid lane. See Cuz getting in there, big engage from Keria. Isn't great, Ghost is going to stay alive. The needle's not really connecting on the backside of that. The Fate's Call gets Keria to safety, and nobody really takes too much lethal damage.
Nice attempt by Carrier there, but not a favorable trade for T1, as Ghost just has to force, or uses heal rather, whereas the flash was used by Carrier. And that means that his engage pressure is going to be a lot less threatening for the foreseeable future. Also interesting to see Teddy go for the rage blade here second, meaning that... and was going to go for the Zeal there, but decides to pick up one of the best items in the game instead, which I can't
one
fault him for that.
One?
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah,
Nothing really compares to the stopwatch.
Okay. I'll give you this one, well done, list.
It's the best item in the game.
Yeah, I mean for the price, yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's what every item is based off of.
Well, no, but you can't have just stopwatches, you know? Whereas if you have a lot of other items, you get 6 of them, like, it won't be great, but, I mean, 6 Triforces, you can't do that anymore, but if you could...
Well, specifically for the price.
Well, then, yeah.
What it offers, stopwatch is the best. Even with the one use.
And in this case, Teddy can obviously sit in that until he gets GA, but this Ginsos is going to give him more individual damage and allow him to shred through like the tankier targets quicker, but it does make it a lot harder to get rend stacks on many people, like a Runans would, in teamfight situations. And this is a must-win for T1. You can't give over this Infernal Soul. Well, I've said that before, and teams have lost with Infernal Soul, but it's not something that should ever happen. And I don't expect Dominatia to do it. All ultimates are available here.
Is this the typical take Infernal Soul and die 2 of your members and give up Baron and lose?
No, it's dumb.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that's
happening.
Yeah, different series. Okay, 5v5. We got the Callista in the mid lane, but Teddy easily comes on down. Beryl is going to get ulted and just laughs at him. Going to lose that Sejuani ultimate for now. Showmaker's got a cask, so keep that in mind. More kiting back, more respect this time from DK. So we're looking for the perfect engage. Keep your eyes on Beryl. He still has his flash. Keria doesn't have his.
Neither team has poke.
Yeah, I mean, they're all melee. It's like, what are you going to do? Okay, that's getting pretty low. Beryl's just going to ultimate, gets a huge knockup, and there is the wombo combo. Well, where's the damage? The kick is on the Ghost, and there is no follow-up from the side of Dom1. T1 are going to sweep them up and take down the Infernal Drake. A huge team fight win going the way of T1.
The must-win fight was won indeed, Vel, as they pick up the Drake. Immediate flash there from Ghost. And the real victory might be them being able to pick up the Baron. It's Cuz getting sacrificed yet again. It's the life of a Sejuani, but what they get back for it in return is definitely going to be worth it.
All right, well, I already know what they're saying on the forums. Ban Gwen.
I mean, that's not wrong.
I'm feeling the energy right now. Khan is here alongside a Ghost, and they do have a lot of damage as Ghost is getting a little bit of room, but Faker does a really nice job of zoning them away. Ghost are not really able to get on in there, but Khan is able to pick up a kill, but Faker will go down. Can they get on top of that Baron? No, it is going to go the way of the Callista, but Ghost looking to take away as many Baron buffs as possible, and here comes big brother Alistair, but, well, let his younger sister die. As here comes the paranoia, but there's no vision at all, as Canyon is not going to be able to pick up the kill. But that is the Baron alongside of the extracurricular activities. T1 will pick it up.
And this is where you're looking for the, where you're like, as Kane, like, I know that Sweeper is better, but if only I had the far side trinket, I could have gone in there. And it's a bit of a tense situation, but T1, they need to re-engage there because they don't have Cuz. They don't have the guarantee of a smite, and in the end, it's the Rend that secures it, but Rend has been nerfed repeatedly. You don't get the guaranteed unless you really have a lot of spears in there. Not to say that the damage is enough, as here we see the engage from Beryl is absolutely beautiful, but this cask from Carrier means that it takes a second for Kane and Ghost to actually get into the fight. And by that point, by the point the damage is already done, right? So it's that inevitable delay where simultaneously a beautiful engage comes through, but there's also the disengage that Gragas provides. And yeah, as I said before, there's a bunch of spears, but you don't really know how much you're going to do. You need to be really respectful of that, and in the end, they will be able to pick it up from a... Even there, you know, it's like 400 health, not a risk you really want to take.
Yeah.
Teddy and Kana can just hold on for a little bit longer until Cuz is there. And this is looking like a game 3, Valdez.
It really is, and I already know if I were, if I had a vote, I would vote Keria.
Gwen. Well, both of those statements are true, I'd say.
Yes, also ban Gwen. Yeah, so the Baron is taken here. They're trying to push 2 lanes, and nobody can stand for the Gwen at this point in time. I mean, there's not a single champion in this game that can do it. And then now they're just going to group up as 5 and look for the bottom turret here. Again, with the lack of range comes the lack of siege. You have the Baron buff, which certainly helps, but keep in mind that even with the Baron, I mean, at this point in time, it's really T1 only taking down 5 turrets. And even with that Baron, they just back away. They're not going to be able to take down even an inhibitor turret.
We have a moment of respite in this game after, honestly, incredibly action-packed, especially for SK standards, but I feel like by a lot of standards here, 28 minutes in, 4 Drakes already taken, next one on the board in 1:40. We see the 3 item spikes are being hit across the board. So much sustain available on the side of T1, whereas even Kia, right, between the sustain that Showmaker has with his W, Khan picking up the Riftmaker, these elongated fights are just so incredibly fun to watch. But T1 with the Baron buff still available can get Prior really easily here. Rendons is done for Cuz as well, so hopefully it'll be a little bit more tanky. And we did see there the threat of what DK can still do. Yes, they're 4k gold behind, but if Beryl gets another of those knockups and there's no carrier cost to keep Ghost and Canyon and possibly Showmaker away from that backline, you can still lose. This is not a set-in-stone win, and this is also where Kia has found these type of victories before.
They absolutely have. I mean, I just harken back to when they fell behind against Gen G in the finals of Spring LCK.
Yeah.
And they somehow were able to claw it back. Khan gets caught, though. That's not going to help. It doesn't look like he doesn't even have flash, so he's just dead. And that's 30 seconds until... Yeah, I mean, that's it. And even without the Baron, it looks like they're going to try to push here before this Infernal Drake. See what they can chop off now.
It's feeling like a trade-off where, you know, you can go for Infernal Drake, but go get your Nexus. It's not something you can afford at Kia. Still a possibility, but Canyon being so far off can get the turret here. Has the level 2 of the ultimate, so not the biggest range. T1, however, not going to risk it. Just going to say, guys, no need for us to take any big risks. It's Kia after all. Why go through that?
Going?
He's going to go for the steal, and he's going to get it. And then, you know.
They don't have vision of this objective, and he was spotted, too.
Well, I'm an optimist, Valdez. But optimism at the moment, not really justified.
He's able to get out at least, but there you go. Second Infernal does go into the pockets of T1. And, yeah, Gwen and Co are really going to enjoy those extra stats here, especially later on in the game, the scaling with all those items.
So what Faker just did, that takes restraint. You know, like getting that cannon in last hit territory and then giving it to your AD carry?
Yeah.
I respect that. Yet another stopwatch is picked up. A lot of clocks on the side of T1. And Kia still are one good team fight away from getting back in this game, right? And that's what makes it so interesting, is that the gold lead, while big for T1, still not unsurmountable. Cosmic Drive now finished. Showmaker is still really, really fat. Same can be said for Khan. And I would like to see some more magic resist. We know Cuz opting into that as well, has the negative flow available. Because a lot of the damage outside of like the upfront burst that a Nocturne and a Kaiser provide is actually AP based, right? It's Showmaker, it's Canyon with the Equalizer. Negating that can get a lot done.
Keria just commands so much space right now with his presence. He's able to walk forward with little help from his allies. Clear out some vision, force a scan very far away from the Baron, and they're just going to run at this objective. And it's going to die pretty fast. I mean, they have some pretty insane damage. Lisa and Gwen, Kalista. Beryl is looking for it. It seems like DK really want to get on in here. That's a miss on the Sejuani ultimate, but trading ultimates in the jungle. Now trying to get on in. They're trying to burst down Keria, but again, Fate's Call is right there. Returning to the Baron. In goes Faker, and he's kind of all alone. Up on the top side, big knockup, and Ghost just gets way too low. and taken down by the Needles and the Gragas with the Ignite. This is looking really good for the side of T1. Dom1 desperately trying to get that engage going and deny the Baron, but it will not pan out, and we should be going to a game number 3, as Canyon just going to be denied any access to his own base. And unless Khan can pull off a miracle here, it looks like T1 have done it.
That's what we all wanted. Game number 3, Valdez. And turns out you were right. Those stopwatches actually, most valuable item in the game is an execute, doesn't really count. And T1 take a decisive victory here. And we are going to a 3rd game in this banger of a series.
Yep, there you have it.